The main reason why I had you on here was, well, I shouldn't say main, there's a couple of things. You're kind of unique in a few ways. So one is that you work both in the conventional and non-QM space. We don't have a lot of other people that do that. I think there's a little thing there too, which is, if I'm not mistaken, you started in the non-QM space with us doing the non-QM leads, and you hadn't really done much or anything in the non-QM space. So that'd be something I'm curious to find out about. The other thing I think is super exceptional is that you are scaling a lot more than our average client, probably spending anywhere from 5 to 10 times as much. And I'm curious about, how you've been able to make that work for you. How has it worked? And, little tips along the way. One of the very first things I'm a little bit curious about is, I know you keep somewhat of a decent track on numbers, maybe more than some people. Do you have any remote idea about the amount you've funded? Maybe?
I think I went live about March or April is when we went live. So started off purchase only. So I really wanted to invest in purchase. Once I saw that the program was working, we can generate the leads. I'm like, you know what? Let me dip my toe in Refi. So we started that, I want to say last June. And what I can say is it's been far from linear, but in hindsight, Brandon, I've pretty much been 75% surviving on your program in one form or another since July or August of last year, But yeah, so started off purchase, thought I would dabble in Refi, and it was so easy, really, to generate the Refi. There was no reason not to do it. I paused on purchase just because I wanted to try out DSCR, and Refi was kind of paying the bills, and purchase has been kind of funky, which I do regret taking my foot off the grass there. And we could talk about that. We're starting purchase up again with some aggressive filters, and then started DSCR in September. And then DSCR started hitting heavy in November. And then pretty much that kind of took the place of Refi. So that's been kind of the process.
Right.
As far as what's generated, fairly substantial. I don't try to be a conversion king. I can be. I could totally be. I have the skill set. Been doing it long enough. I've had tons of experience with leads over the years, how I started. But I don't try to be a conversion king. A lot of that is, part of it is quality of life. Part of that is also wanting a loyal database of clients. I like to be able to kind of cash my check. I like to be able to lock a deal and know that they're loyal. And I've had tremendous success with that. With that said, I sell where needed, but I look for people to connect with my value pitch or connect with me, connect with what I'm offering. And then if I get a bite, then I'm like all in, and then I'll go after it. But if they're going to push back on cost and rate and talk about other lenders, honestly, I just kind of let them go. I think from my numbers, even with all the turmoil and competition, probably I'd say 700 to, I got to spend about 700 to $1,000 to get a deal for me personally. Now, I think some of your other clients, it may be in different markets or whatever, can probably do much better than that. Again, I'm not trying to be much better than that. I'm fine with that. I don't need to spend $300 to $500 a deal, but I can also generate about 10 grand per deal in my market. So I'm cool with spending $1,000 to make 10. And that's not fluff. That's definitely the math approximately. Yeah. Just like I would say somewhere around, since maybe call it August, September, closed probably about 20 mil. And I would say most of that was probably generated from you guys. So as far as what's funded right now, what is it? Just turned March. But year to date, I'm at 18 million. Year to date.
Pretty good. Wow.
Yeah. And that's an average of only 22 deals. That's an average loan size of 837,000. So I started, we're going back summer of 2020, where I started kind of researching. We all know that it was taking candy from a baby, for the better part of 2 years. But I, of course, having been in the business for 20 years, I know all good things come to an end. And COVID was disrupting the market, as far as how we engage with clients to get business. So I wanted to go consumer direct. So started researching companies, and you and I kind of started talking toward the end of 2020, didn't pull the trigger till later that year, and then didn't actually implement it till a year ago. I have zero regrets kind of going with you. And I've talked to other, I guess you can call them competitors in the space. And I've also talked to, while you and I were doing just fine with purchase and refi, I was talking to other people who went with other companies that have sort of similar models of generating business on Facebook. And basically they were no longer accepting clients. And basically I had a guy who actually convinced me to even go down this road because he was having success with the space in general, basically Facebook consumer direct. And basically he was like asking about you guys, like, hey man, I can't, it's totally dried up. It's bust. I can't do anything. And you and I have never had any of those issues. The customer service has been great. You guys reply to my emails anytime I need something, you kind of handle it. I did the, what did I do? What do you call
Lifetime Plus?
Yeah, I did Lifetime Plus.
Yeah, the hybrid.
But I basically kind of transitioned right into a client just because I'm interested in the back end, but I don't have time for it. So I'm totally fine with the client side.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just kind of putting myself into, because like people on, the people that reach out, everybody wants to know like, hey, is MGS good? Is MGS good? Is it a scam? And there's all this hilarious kind of things out there. And I'll just kind of go back to what I'm saying earlier. You just kind of decide what you want out of the business. Good luck generating refi. Purchase is great. It's going to be market dependent, and you just have to have appropriate expectations. Don't give up on it. Stay with it. You can generate the purchase leads for people. And if you want to dabble into DSCR, have lenders. Trust me, please. I guess the moral of the story is you guys are very good at generating the business. And then it's more up to us how we want to handle it from a technology standpoint, how we want to work the lead and follow up. If we want to use your ISA system, have your own ISA system, you're your own one-man person, however you want to do it.
Yep.
Don't be cheap. Spend the money. Just spend the money. I mean, what's the difference? If you spend $1,000 a month and get 1 or 2 deals, well, why not scale that if you can afford it? Because it's relative. Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It's relative. I mean, if you're having if it gets unscalable, then that's where you hit your peak. And then you got to revisit your audience size and that kind of stuff. Right. Well, I don't do Zillow with agents as a rule. I don't like spending money with agents, but I do have a long time agent that's a very good client of mine. I do 10 deals a year with them. And we've been doing $500 a month each. And finally I told them, can we just cancel this? We're spending $1,000 a month. I don't think I've gotten a lead in 3 months, Yeah. As far as MGS is concerned, your job is to help me generate leads. And the type of leads that are available through the source, i.e. Facebook, is what they are. So I think you're able to generate the best that's available. And I think that's really when people are deciding, like, who am I going to use to get business or how am I going to get business? It's like, either can you generate the deals or not? And I think that's really the big thing people are worried about. Are they the real deal? And I totally understand what people mean by that. But you just have to understand Facebook is Facebook. You're going to get a certain type of lead at Facebook, and either you can generate the leads or you can't. If you can't, then you can't, and you're getting ripped off, or they don't know how to tweak it. I've never had my ad account shut down from you. I've never been suspended. I've never had any issues whatsoever. I know other companies have had all kinds of issues where they're getting suspended and they're trying to get it figured out or terminated, all kinds of stuff. So I guess that's really the moral of the story, because listen, refi, right? Refi is, the rates are 4%.
Yeah.
So I killed it with refi while it was available. It is what it is. DSCR, we can generate DSCR. I can make money off DSCR. What's the problem? The market is the problem. That's not your problem. Your job is to generate leads for me. And my job is to see what I can do with that, right? There's not someone that's going to go and generate this higher quality lead for the same price. It is what it is, as far as that goes. And it's just up to us to convert that into money. I have different goals, just generally speaking, and my own kind of motivation. Yeah, obviously, if you give an agent a deal, it's going to help you get more business, period. So again, your job is how we generate it. I generate what I do with it is what I do with it. I'm transitioning into a different thing where I'm kind of detaching myself from a local market where I can take more of a national approach. I'm more interested in a national approach. I'm also interested in more dating my agents than marrying them.
Yep.
That's kind of a quality of life thing. Again, goes back to, can I convert light leads higher and get more bang for my buck? Yeah. Can I leverage these purchase leads to get more realtors? Yes, I can. I'm choosing to make less in that regard, but that gives me a better quality life over here, and I still make a lot of money. So it's just my personal preference. That's just me, what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
The business is there to generate, and how you want to leverage that is on you. There is zero question if you give, and to be clear, I've referred my loyal agents several deals in San Diego County, and I've built 2 new relationships. And this is even with minimal effort with leveraging purchase. But I'll tell you a beautiful thing. And now you guess what? Since I referred her the deal, I don't have to answer my phone every time she calls me at 8:00 at night because I gave her the business. So you can fire agents. It's amazing. It gives you the control, man. No, it gives you the control. You want to leverage it to get more business and play the game? Do it. You want to feed a deal out here and there and kind of have a little bit more of the control, which is, frankly, let's just be real. It's a nice feeling to have a little bit of the control back. Because let's be real. I call an agent and they don't have to call me back. But if I don't call them back in 5 minutes and I get a text and an email, and then the cycle will repeat itself an hour later. And that's exhausting.